Hello everyone, I'm George from Ireland, and here I'm in Whitechapel, London. So behind me you can see the Whitechapel Gallery, and this is where Isaac Rosenberg studied art and read extensively. There's the gallery and the library right beside each other. You can see, and you can see the blue plaque there. So Isaac Rosenberg is a poet and painter who was killed in the First World War. Rosenberg was born in Bristol to Lithuanian Jewish immigrants, but when he was a baby they moved to London. He grew up in a working class family, and there were 6 children. One of his siblings died in infancy, so he lived in Stepney, which was quite a Jewish area at the time. There are almost no Jewish people in the East End of London now. In the 1950s they went through what they call the Northwest Passage, mirthfully, as in moving to North London from having been here in the East. Anyway, so then he did very well at school. He attended Christian schools. They were fairly liberal Jews. And then he went out to work. He also attended a course at Birkbeck. This is night school for adults to further his education. He was fascinated by literature. He met some of the budding artists of the day. Lawrence Binyon, the writer, took him under his wing, and he began publishing poems. He published several poems before the First World War broke out on various quotidian themes. He was finding his own voice. He was very much a 20th century writer in his poesy, even though he was born in the 19th century. He was forward-looking, but he was a sickly youth. He was very short, about 5'2". He moved to South Africa just before the First World War in the hope that the climate would do better for him. And then the war broke out. So he was very independent-minded and very perceptive, and he was quite sceptical about the moral case for war. Nevertheless, he enlisted in the British Army, thinking that the only way to end the war was fight to the finish. It doesn't appear to be attracted to Zionism or indeed repelled by it. So he was posted to France. He served in a number of different regiments. He was sometimes ill for a long time, in hospital for up to 2 months. And he published poems about his war experiences. He declined to be promoted to Lance Corporal. He wanted to be sent to Mesopotamia, that's now called Iraq, to serve with an all-Jewish unit. So there wasn't particularly religious. Jewishness was certainly crucial to his identity. And he was killed in 1918, just before the end of the First World War. So we know a lot about his life from his letters and diaries. He held exhibitions here in this gallery before in the First World War. So he achieved very little recognition in his lifetime. It's only in more recent years that Isaac Rosenberg has come to be known as one of the most scintillating and original voices from the First World War. He's so often overlooked amongst the war poets. The better known ones like Wilfred Owen, or oh my goodness, Siegfried Sassoon and so on, who came from upper class backgrounds. That is enough about Isaac Rosenberg. So please follow me on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and book online lessons with me in history, politics, English foreign language, religious studies, French and law. See my other channels, British poesy and English law, and choose me as your tour guide in London. Toodaloo even.